amazing!
Wow, that's
Whoa!
totally amazing.
Hey guys, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello. We've literally no idea what just happened.
No.
Because by the magic of editing, that hasn't happened yet. So
yeah.
It was probably a dreadful mess, Dan.
And that's the spirit. An interesting show today. We've recently taken delivery of the Empress Zoia, and I've been having a play with it. And when Joe was over recently, he had the mood on his board. He had the mood on his board, and he was getting some amazing sounds with that. And the more I looked at looking at the demos and things and the sounds that lots of these guys were getting, these textures, these sort of ambient textures that were so far removed from stuff that we normally do. And so I thought we'd have some fun today and have a look at these two and some sounds that's going on here.
Some other stuff.
But also some other ambient texture things.
So we're loosely calling it ambient, are we?
Loosely, it's ambient on ambient.
Yeah. Okay. The problem of categorizing music, I guess, but yeah, not normal rock and roll overdrive pedal and delay, right?
It's rock and
Shout out to Fraser, who made the backing track using the Zoia and the mood.
Yeah.
And obviously there'll be about 15 million comments going, oh my God, can you show us how we do that? Maybe one day, if he wants to go in front of camera. But it's very clever. I walked in while he was making it. I'm like, what? That's what you get for being 25 years younger.
Yep, that's what you get.
That's what you get. Meanwhile, back in semi-geriatric land. It's fun though, isn't it? It's fun to watch middle-aged people struggling with technology.
I've always enjoyed it. Okay, so I guess starting off point, we have some familiar things on here. We have the D&M drive and Memory Man and some delays and reverbs and things. And the two amps we're using today, we have the Marshall amp. That's what I'm calling it from now on.
1987X.
50 watt Plexi. And
which I keep saying I'm going to mod, and I never do. Martin Kidd from Victory has told me how to mod that bright cap.
Okay.
On the input.
To swap it out or take it out completely?
Well, he says probably just take it out completely.
Right.
But or make us put a different one in there so it's not quite so harsh and horrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay, so this is the amp.
We don't have time for tangents.
No, we don't.
Matchless is the other amp. Matchless HC30.
And together they sound like this.
Oh, this is me, is it?
This is you.
Okay.
No reverb, no nothing. Dry.
Dry, difficult. Lot of bass from the Marshall. Quite hard to play, but a glorious sound nonetheless. It's hard to play.
So what I thought, if we have a look at a couple of things that you can do before we get into the deep, just have a look at a couple of things that we can do with just some delays and reverb. So one of the things with these textures is when we talk about delays, a lot of the time we talk about timed repeats. Okay, so for example, if we put the DM2 on,
so we're saying that ambient music is full of textures. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. So
as a sort of general catch-all start point.
Yeah, there's a lot of textures in there.
And to play devil's avocado just for a second, is ambient music just like any other music but with loads of delay and reverb on?
I think calling it ambient music as opposed to music with ambient textures.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly that. It's just music.
Yeah, good.
But it just has these thick textures, and I think in this context, we're using obviously what you play on the guitar is of utmost importance, but we're then, once you've played that, we are then letting the pedals do a lot of work.
Actually, hang on. Hi, Joe, yeah. Good to hear from you, mate, yeah. Sure. Okay, I'll ask him. All right, cheers, mate. Bye. That's Joe Bonamassa. He says, is it just an excuse for not being able to play the guitar properly?
No. I'll show you what I mean. All right. Let's put in a gain stage. So we've got the D&M drive here. So this is the D&M drive going to both amplifiers.
Yeah!
Awesome. Now, normally with a delay, if we're doing a solo delay, we might want a really long delay that has, like a crystal clear delay. When we're talking about ambient textures, analog delays are really fantastic at this because what they tend to do is they quite happily bury themselves in the mix a little bit deeper because we don't have a lot of that high end going on. So I've got two delays on the board today. The DM2, the Wazacraft, new one from Boss, and the Deluxe Memory Man.
That's for Joe Bonamassa, by the way.
I can't honk him. We were in the car on the way to see him and we got turned around and we couldn't, so I was denied my honk.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so I'm going to add the DM2, and this is, we're going to start with like a standard delay tone, right? So if we...
What do you want me to play, Dan?
Anything you like, just notes.
Notes?
Lead tone, or like a note.
I've got notes.
Give me some notes.
21 times 6, plus all the ones in between.
Awesome.
I told you there's some ones in between.
Well, awesome.
It's ambient, man.
Okay, so what we heard there, we heard clear repeats. You could easily hear it going on in the music. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to up the intensity. I'm going to make those repeats longer.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring the level down just to sort of, to make it more of a less obvious delay. Okay, so if you keep playing for me. So you see how that's sort of all blending together. There's lots of repeats there, sort of all blending together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run that delay into another delay, right? So we're going to take all those repeats and then I'm going to delay those again, okay? So let's throw the Memory Man on after the DM2. So this is the sound we've got.
Sorry if my note choice was making you feel a bit stabby there.
But it sounds great, right? Finally, what I'm going to do after all of that, I'm going to put some reverb on it.
Okay.
Now, the thing about the reverb again, when you're going for these sorts of pad textures, it's a really great thing to be able to have some EQ control on the reverb. So you don't want it to be too bright.
Right.
Having a dark reverb in this situation is really cool. So what I'll do, I'll put the reverb on, then I'll turn up the tone of the reverb and then turn it down. And as I turn it down, you'll hear how the reverb just sort of blends in with those sort of dark repeats from all the delays. Yep. Okay, so as we were.
Feeling tense?
Tenser.
Yeah.
But you see what happens there is there was no one clear defined effect. They all became sort of part of that sound.
Yeah, it kind of creates a pad, doesn't it? Like
exactly.
A landscape in a way.
Yeah.
A kind of, you can sort of imagine it a bit foggy and dangerous.
And for me, that's the sort of that texture. Being able to create textures in that vein, is a really big part of that whole ambient thing.
It's probably a bit too a wider question at this point in the video, but I guess a lot of people will be, if you're not really into this world and this isn't the kind of thing you do, you would need the kind of arrangement in the music for that to fit, right?
Sure.
Because if you've got 4 on the floor drums and standard rock band fare, then that's just going to be completely lost, isn't it? You need something fairly sparse and spacey for it to sit.
Yeah, absolutely. However, if you've got, sometimes it's really cool when you've got the drums and bass with this sort of stuff will be proud of those sort of textures.
Mm.
And, as opposed to the guitars pushing right up the front, this is going to pull them right back.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's really cool to have other things forward, only on occasion, but for this to have other things forward and just having that wash.
Yeah.
I mean, it can work. That sort of sound can work in a number of different genres and things.
Even before we get into any of these clever ass pedals, just using a couple of delays and a reverb can create you some colossal soundscapes, as it were.
There's one more trick I'm going to show you, and this is a lot of fun. It's using the loop in the Memory Man. So what the loop in the Memory Man does is it gives us a point where we can affect the sound of the delay. So at the moment we have a delay going into it, and then that delay is then being delayed. And then what comes out of that is going directly into the reverb pedal. But what we can do is we can take the delay in the Memory Man and we can affect, we can put a pedal in the loop of the Memory Man. So for example, if we put a chorus in the loop, then everything that's going on, the delay-wise in the Memory Man will be modulated.
So it wouldn't touch the straight guitar signal, it would only touch the delay signal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then what happens, we get a little bit more separation between what's going on with the delay in front of it and the actual delay that's being created by the Memory Man, right? So there's a couple of really cool things that the first thing I'm going to show you is actually putting a reverse delay in the loop of the Memory Man, right? So I've got the tensor here. So we'll bring up that sound again. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to turn on the tensor, and then everything that the Memory Man is producing will hit the reverse delay. So yeah, check it out.
It's mad. It was getting folded in so much with everything else. It was hard to discern.
Right.
Unless you kind of stop playing.
No. If you play some long sustain notes.
It's beautiful. What do you call that?
I call that. So, I think with a lot of the ambient stuff, though, it doesn't jump out at you that it's reverse delay, but the way it works with that delay,
kind of folds in. Yeah.
But the other really cool thing about a pedal like this in the loop, the tensor gives you the ability to change pitch, right? So if you imagine, what's going to happen is the delay is going to hit the tensor. It's going to change the pitch. It's going to go back out into the front of the Memory Man, change the pitch again. So what's going to happen when it start changing the pitch? You'll hear the pitch step change. So have a listen to this.
I have enough trouble playing in key as it is.
All right, here we go. Have schwung.
Oh God, I've got to do it. What do you want to play? Something simple?
Yeah, something simple. Be great. Same thing. Now I'm going to go down, right? So by just manipulating just the delay, you can those sorts of textures you just have so much fun with.
So all we've done there is delay.
All we've
and
done
pitch shift.
is pitch. We are just changing the pitch of the delay in the loop.
There are blue whales on the way here. On there. They've gone, gosh, she sounds like a bit of a right. Swimming his way across
playing
the
my
Atlantic. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd get lost in that, couldn't you?
Easily.
Especially if you had a weekend and some other things on your hands. You could really get lost in that.
Well, imagine getting a sound like that and sampling it.
Yeah. No.
And then manipulating that. That's where you get the, when we had Ed O'Brien in here and he was just using the looper and creating a lot of those self-oscillating sounds from the delay, recording those and looping them and speeding them up and all that sort of stuff. That's entering into that territory.
Yeah. Actually, does any of this do looping?
Well, the tensor does a short loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the mood do looping?
The mood does looping.
Okay. Because it seems to me that is at the heart of a lot of what I would
Absolutely.
regard as ambient, if we're going to draw brackets around things.
Yeah.
Call it that.
Well, the mood does looping. The Zoia does everything and then everything else.
Is it time to talk about the Zoia? Or not yet?
Let's quickly talk about the mood.
Okay.
Then we'll get to the Zoia and then you can cut me off when we're done.
I'm not doing anything because I just get told off by the viewership for cutting you off. So we'll just see what happens, shall we?
Okay. All right. So the mood, we have, there's basically two sides to it. On this side, we have the looping side. And so what happens is, it's always looking at your signal. When it's bypassed, it's always looking for what to record. So if you just play something, just play a chord. So that's created that loop now, right? And what we can do that we've created that loop is that we can now manipulate it.
Can you change the length of the loop it takes?
Yes. So we've got the length here. So I.
Yeah.
But this isn't like a standard looper.
No.
But it's recording that sound.
It's there to
be manipulated.
How different? Sorry for banging all these questions at you. How different is that from sample and hold?
It's basically what it's doing.
The same thing but longer, because the sample and hold tends to be quite short.
Yeah. So that's So it's like a freeze almost. It's recording that bit and then just looping it over.
Right. And
They've coined it micro looper, if that's useful.
Micro looper.
Simon,
okay.
ever the voice of useful interjections, because he reads the manuals. They've called it a micro looper, just in case you didn't get that.
Right.
So it's a micro looper.
So what I'm going to do now, we're going to play.
For anyone who plays really short songs.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Or for Angus Young. He almost walked out of a photo shoot once. Because the photographer said to him, "Oh, you're quite short, aren't you?" Because I think the photographer is really nervous. And Angus says, "Yeah, and I do a bloody good disappearing act as well." True story.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's not Angus Young's looper.
not.
I don't think he would use a looper. Would he? It's not really his
I
thing.
know. Not this one.
No,
Not a
you can
micro
imagine it.
looper. It's a new direction. If you like it. Angus Young on the guitar, you wrote this. Okay. So we've captured that sound. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to this side by hitting this button, and then we can manipulate it some more. So what I've done there, I manipulated it and then I re-recorded it back on to the original loop.
So you said this is the loop side. What's this side? Did you say that?
So this is the effect side.
Right.
So we can manipulate that side.
Right.
Okay.
And what are the effects?
So we have reverb, we have delay, and we have what's called a slip, which is basically like a glissando thing. I'll show you. It's a lot of hidden hope.
Does the loop degrade? Like my original loop will not be my original loop, presumably, will it?
Because we've manipulated it and sent it back into the recording.
Right.
Yeah. The center knob here tells us, gives us the quality of the loop that we're recording, right? So. I can then degrade that loop.
Is that sample rate?
That's sample rate.
Yeah, okay.
So a couple of other things. The modulation side, you can choose whether the modulation is on the input. So if I put this over here, turn it on. Or I can just have the effect side on the loop, or you can have it on both. So the idea is that you'll play something, you'll record it, and then manipulate it.
It's killer. I've watched Joey use it. I've watched demos of it. I've just watched you use it, and I guess you just need to not have my brain.
All right.
I guess what I'm saying is, there'll be the audience will be split here. Anyone of you watching, there'll be some of you going, "Oh God, you're such an idiot." You know, it's all about experimentation. Just get into it, man. You know, your blues is boring. Give it up. What you need is this, and it's your imagination is the problem. And then there's probably the larger part of the audience that's going, I literally cannot imagine any environment in which I could use that.
Sure. I think looking at these things in isolation can be misleading. You wouldn't...
Hello? It's Taylor Swift. She says, that was awesome. Can she use it on her next single?
She is very welcome to it.
He says, okay, but you need to go through me, all right? Bye.
Yeah, so you would use this in conjunction with other things.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? Deep breath.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to... no, I'm not. I would say I was going to tune out. I'm not going to tune out. I'm going to see if it can make any sense
Okay.
whatsoever.
The Zoia.
I'm not thick, by the way. I use quite complex software. I have a degree. I've managed people.
The only person calling you thick is you.
I've run... No. I get it a lot in the comments.
Okay.
Because people are like, oh, Mick's obviously an idiot because he can't understand M1D1. And it's not about a basic brain dysfunction or not being able to. It's the fact that I don't know what it is, but I have no inclination to understand it. So I'm not thick.
No,
I just...
These sort of sounds have to connect with you, and then that has to motivate you to want to understand.
The sound, I get it. The sound, I can be moved by that sound, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, when you're at primary school, actually, when I was at primary school, computers came out.
Right.
Sorry, very short tangent. When I was at primary school, just leaving primary school, commonly available home computers became available. So things like ZX Spectrum, Commodore 64, stuff like that.
I dreamt of a Commodore 64. All I could get was a VIC-20.
Was that the Australian
version? No, it was another company.
Came with 4 cans of Fosters.
It was...
G'day, mate, go programming. Get some tinnies. No. But so, and right from that moment, the smart kids in the class went, oh, wow, computer. What was it?
10, print, Daniel is king. 20,
line,
go to 10. Daniel is king. No, it was Daniel is king. Daniel is king. Daniel is king. And the next computer that was the be-all and word, Daniel is king. Daniel is king. That's how fast it is. Well, it's amazing.
Wasn't it called 64 because it was 64K?
Yeah.
K.
I know.
It wasn't like the ZX Spectrum like 28K or something. Or maybe that was the next model.
Yeah.
Anyway, all the smart kids said, oh yeah, computers, that's obviously the way it's going to be. I was like, no way. That is the worst thing I've ever seen on my SG copy.
We'll get sued.
Oh yeah. Surely they can't pick that up. Anyway, and so I turned away from it age 9. And to this day, I have a passionate hate for PCs.
Wow.
And Macs come to that, but especially PCs. And I hate it. When I look at that, what I see is a computer programmer's brain.
It's not far off.
And which is no disrespect, of course, because it is an amazing unit, as we're about to find out, as are all these things. But when I look at that, I see art.
Yeah.
And this, I see curves and no complication, just music. When I look at that, I see Randolph Burt sat there with his bowl haircut. Love you, Randolph, if you ever watch this. Writing Randolph is ace. Return, go to 10.
Randolph.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what it is. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's deep-seated.
Look, to be...
Simon will cut most of that, hopefully.
No, not at all. Not a word. What is so impressive about the Zoia is that, I mean, for me, this is the closest thing I'll get to using multi-effects. It has all the different effects in it, but you can build your own effects. And it has sequences, and it has all this like oscillators and
so
VCAs.
Explain to me then in simple words, what is Zoia?
Zoia is it's an environment where you can place together any element of effects, of signal generating, processing things, right from synthesis to signal processing.
So does it do EQ?
Yep.
Does it do gain?
Yep.
Does it do modulation?
Yep.
Does it do delay?
Yep.
Does it do reverb?
Yep.
Does it do pitch
Yep.
shifting?
Yep.
So it does everything?
Yep. It does, honestly. Okay.
So, and then all you need to do is put those things together.
Exactly.
Great. I did understand. I kind of understood that. I just needed to check it was true.
I'm going to show you.
Can it speak?
Can it speak? I think you could do vowel sounds.
Yeah. Has it got a wow wow or a ya ya? That sounded absolutely unbelievable. What was it?
Okay.
It sounded incredible.
Right. So we have a mixture of sequencer
Right?
and audio processing, mixing of the output. Okay. So, for example, this is a really nice one as well.
This is a micro looper. That's a micro screen. See you next week.
Right. So
I'm buying one.
you can put a keyboard in there. So let me give you a really quick. Right. Here we go.
That does explain a little bit more about how Fraser made that backing track.
I'm going to give you a really quick demo on how you can build a basic effect.
I've just had a new idea for a t-shirt.
Yes.
It says, I'm going to give you a really quick demo of this pedal in like 1-point type and then fill up the rest of the t-shirt with words.
Okay, I reckon if we edit this down and you just put together me building the blocks of it, I reckon we can do it in under 2 minutes. We're going to build a delay. We're going to build a modulated delay at that. First thing we need is an input, audio input. Source is going to be mono, and I'm going to leave the knob blue. I'm now going to put an output on as well. Interface module, audio output, channels left, and then I will leave that. I'm going to change that to blue as well. I've now got an audio input and an audio output.
Right?
If I play that, we have no sound. But if I connect them together, we have sound. So I'm going to disconnect them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a delay line. I'm going to put that in here. Now I'm going to explore my delay line. I have the delay line audio in, I have the delay line time, and I have the audio out. I've got to connect the output of my delay to the input of my delay, right? Because that's when I hit a sound, that delay, it repeats back on the input. That gives me the extra repeats, okay? So I'm going to connect those two together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect the input to the input of the delay and the output of the delay to the output. Now I'm going to increase the delay time.
Because at the moment you've got a flanger.
At the moment I've got a flanger. As I increase the delay time, okay, but I want to modulate a delay. All right, so to do that, I need to modulate the time. And I'm going to do that with an LFO, like a low frequency oscillator.
So, sorry, just to interrupt very briefly.
Yep.
In order to use this, you do need to have some basic understanding of how effects work.
You do, however...
And it could be a great teacher.
It's an amazing teacher. I think if you want to build effects, this is like an absolutely incredible...
Well, isn't that what Steve, guy we met at NAMM, isn't that how he began this? Didn't it begin as a kind of platform for trying things out?
Yeah, right. I mean,
I'm sure he said that to me. I can't quite remember. But
that would make total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put an LFO in here. The waveform, I'm going to make a sine wave.
Yeah.
As I turn up the frequency, that speed becomes faster.
Understood.
Turn it down, it becomes slower. Now, what would I join that up to?
You need to join it up to the. Well, you wouldn't want it on the output of the delay. You'd want it in the middle of the delay somewhere.
What's the middle of the delay?
What
would I be controlling to modulate the delay?
Oh, I see, the time.
The time. So we're going to connect the LFO output up to the time. You can see the delay time modulating. However, it's going to sound... Because it's basically modulating all the way from like that whole band is modulating that all up and down. What I need to do is I need to reduce the strength of that connection. So there you go, start to finish, and modulate. If I hit that, it is. But from start to finish, a modulated delay. What I can do from there is I can add more delay lines, and I can add different timings, and I can have them. I can have the time of one of the delays controlled by a control voltage, or
Are you constricted by the number of buttons on the top panel?
No, because
so you can kind of sweep left and right.
Well, I've got that page there.
Yeah.
I've got another page. They've got 3 pages that you can use.
So you can use 3. So if you wanted a delay, a chorus, a flanger, a phaser, and a whammy,
all on the same sound.
Yeah. So if you wanted to create multi effects, basically.
Well, yeah. So you need to think of each one of these things as a sound, and then we save that, move on to the next one.
Right.
Create another sound.
And then can you have more than one sound on at once?
No. You need to create that in the one sound.
So you could have a delay, a phaser, and a flanger.
Yeah, all going into each other.
And that would be one preset. If you
want a delay going into a phaser, going into a flanger, yes, that would be the one thing.
Yeah.
But what you can do then is you can you've got this like a hot button that you can assign to turn on and off the phaser within that sound, or whatever, or press it so it holds the sound. It's an amazing thing. If we just
trying to get my head around it, because thinking about it like a multi effects doesn't really make any sense, because just get a multi effects,
of course,
or a pedal board which does all those things. You don't need this. Is if you want to super tweak and have it all in one box.
Yeah. So that's like, for example, the sound that we've just made there. Of course, I'm not going to go out and buy the Zoia for that sound.
No.
But that allows me to do, once I understand the basic building blocks of how to get the effects to sound the way they do, and then I can add on to that, like
sequencer.
Absolutely. And so how we did before, the sequencer with the keyboard, add that so that you can play do your big chord and then go down and play a couple of melodies. And, there are Facebook groups where people have gone in and created the most unbelievable sounds, and you can share them. There's a little micro SD port on the back.
Yeah.
For me, it's the most original effect that I've seen in years, certainly since we started the show. There's nothing else like it. It is so clever.
And just to confirm, if you wanted to change the EQ of your delay there, you could do that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you don't have to show me.
I put a filter.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I've got my guitar in directly to my output.
Yeah.
And I'm mixing the delay on top of that. So all I would do is put an EQ, break the link between the delay out and the normal output, put a filter after that delay, and then connect that to the output. And then I can basically change the tone and quality of the sound of the delay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now imagine 4 of those and one of them out of phase and all different times, and then you pitch shift one. It's
again, you know, to come back to your point, saying you wouldn't just buy that. You would not acquire this in order to make a simple modulated delay, nor would you acquire this if you just wanted a multi-effects where you had control over various parameters of certain effects.
That's right.
Because you can do that in any multi-effects, right?
Yeah.
Almost multi-effects.
Yeah.
So really, this is a step beyond that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I mean, and the reason that not every guitar player owns one is because it requires imagination.
It does. I think for me, if you're also a guitar player and you want to explore modular synthesis, this is it. This will get you going. Yeah. Because you can add your LFOs and your control voltages and all your oscillots, and you can create synths. You can stack your LFOs, and then just like you would with an analog synth. Right. It's unreal. So, for example. So that's all sequences basically
they're factory presets, presumably.
They're factory presets, but that's just using the sequencer and the LFOs creating these sounds. So
the first one reminded me of when we went to Japan and we went into that crazy arcade with everyone playing.
Oh, the Pinchenko.
That's what that sounded like.
Yeah. But it's an amazing, absolutely amazing thing. So if you're now, why I've included this as it's an excuse to get it out and have a play. But if you are an ambient artist and you are looking to create a really unique thing and then be able to loop it on the fly and send out control voltage messages. For example, I could use this to control the delay time in my tape echo. I can send out a control voltage signal to the tape echo. So I get to a part of a song and I want it to ramp up the speed of the tape echo. It will send a control voltage and telling that what to do.
How does that know?
Because it has a control voltage on the input.
Okay, that's not common though, right?
That's not common.
No,
but
right.
there are lots of things that do have control voltage capability. So it's very, very clever.
Yeah.
There we go.
It totally is. My mind is spinning because, I'm thinking about testing some fuzz pedals next week, and trying to find 2 hours to do that is borderline impossible.
Right.
2 weeks on that, you wouldn't even touch the surface.
Oh no.
So that is like...
That's a commitment.
That is serious commitment for the... no, because I walked in that day and Fraser was just making the backing track. And it was completely native to him. So maybe it's just an age thing.
It's not.
Or a technology. No, it's a technology inclination.
Fraser is very clued up. Eurosynth is his bag. So the idea, if you've seen Eurosynth, Eurorack, if you've seen on the Eurorack stuff where guys are taking out the little leads and plugging them into, that's what that's doing. When I'm making those connections, it's exactly the same as with the Eurorack stuff. I'm taking out. I'm plugging a control voltage in here and an LFO.
Do you know they designed this in 1954? Look at the curves. And the guy used to stand there and do that on the wheel to get the forearm contour. Isn't it amazing?
It is amazing.
Look at these contours. It's incredible, isn't it?
It is. It is.
If you're throwing things at the screen, it's perfectly forgivable.
For me, I think I would use this over an H9.
Even I would use that. Analog drive-through, I expect, isn't it?
This, no.
Oh.
No, it's completely digital. As
See you next week.
Better?
Yeah. Maybe when I'm on the end of this. So I'm on this thing at the moment where I'm just trying to play a note. That's my whole focus at the moment is on being able to play a note.
Yeah.
And so the pedal board is simplified, the amps have simplified, everything is simplified because I just want to be able to play a note. So maybe when I'm bored of that and I realise I can't actually play a note, maybe something like this would be appealing again.
It's not
Because it takes everything I have to play a note.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm right there with you. It takes everything I have not to be able to play a note. It takes every ounce of my being to realise at the end of this, I ain't got this. However, it doesn't stop me wanting to be able to play a note.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. A really good guitar player playing with some creative sounds in this is going to sound better than.
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
I'm not for 1 second saying it's not relevant or amazing or brilliant or so that some people can use it. I'm absolute. That's the last thing on earth I'm saying.
Sure.
I vehemently disagree with Bonamassa on that.
Right.
Having sat here and watched Ed go through that experience, no way. I absolutely appreciate it, and I appreciate it as art.
Yeah, exactly.
Just that it's not
in
that my brain can understand.
Sure. When
From a
we were at
creation
Jam
point of view.
Pedals, and
Yanis
was doing his thing.
It was utterly mind-blowing.
Unbelievable. And that's what, that's this sort of approach.
Fair enough.
Now, I will say that I made that delay there from scratch. It has delays and reverbs and fuzzes and distortions and all that sort of stuff is already in there that you can just chain together.
Yeah.
And, do a parallel and all that sort of stuff. But, everything's there to build from scratch if you want.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Iceberg, it was what I was thinking. It's like an iceberg.
Right.
You can see the tip.
Okay.
But most of it's in the water.
Okay.
And I'm the Titanic sailing towards it.
So there we go. We're there.
It's all about me. It is, mind-blowing.
But it's amazing. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Okay, shall we?
What are we going to do with the Zoia? Are we going to, because we can't just leave it there for that pedal show, because we've literally just scratched the top of it. So we need to find a way of using it again. And bringing it back
No, I'm gonna
trying to do some practical things.
I've got some ideas because I'm gonna have a play with it, and I'm probably gonna sit down with Fraser and go through it. But I've got a couple of ideas.
Nice.
I'm very keen to explore it further.
Yeah, be great. Be nice if we could actually use it in a practical application at some point.
Sure.
Or even an impractical one, but one that at least sounds good.
There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I'm going for a lie down.
A massive thank you to our preferred retailers in the UK and Europe is
Anderton's Music of Guildford in Surrey, where you can probably buy many of these things.
Yes. And no doubt you can do the same thing in Australia.
At Pedal Empire of Brisbane, Queensland.
Also, massive thank you to everyone that has gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed yourself a t-shirt or new t-shirts.
New t-shirts.
And loads of other accoutrements.
Yes. You can also buy this backing track.
Yeah.
Unless you're a patron, in which case you will have an opportunity to get it for free.
There we go.
So they're all available from the store as well.
Yes. Massive thank you to our patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. We couldn't do it without your support. So thank you. Brilliant. We'll have some jamage and we'll see you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.